One issue of particular concern, which binds both our nations together, is that of apartheid. Ever since Mahatma Gandhi launched his struggle against the racial discrimination in South Africa a century ago, India has been in the vanguard of anti-apartheid struggle. We have also been an ardent champion of the rights of the oppressed majority in South Africa. Despite being a frontline state exposed to the destabilization tactics of the regime in Pretoria, Zimbabwe has been consistently voicing its opposition to apartheid and advocate the imposition of comprehensive and mandatory sanctions against South Africa. I recall today the words you spoke here in New Delhi while delivering the Maulana Azad Memorial Lecture on the 23rd January 1987, and I quote, "In free Africa, wars between states and within countries have generally had a deleterious effect on the development process of the continent. Wars between states must be amicably settled through the offices of the OAU or some other mediatory third party. Civil wars should be settled through a process of national reconciliation. Wars launched by imperialism directly or through the proxy of armed bandits should be defeated by a process of national resistance with continental backing. Only then will Africa be able to channel her full potential of human and natural resources into the development of the continent." Unquote. It's a matter of gratification for us that the racist government has been compelled to adopt a path of reform, and this has brought us together to the goal of a united, democratic, and non-racial South Africa. I refer to your chairmanship of the non-aligned movement. The momentous changes in the global situation which have taken place in recent past have led some to question the very relevance of the movement. The end of the Cold War, the crumbling of military blocs, and the far-reaching politico-economic changes in East Europe have clearly shown that the philosophy and aspirations of the movement are still as relevant as before, although the agenda may have to be changed. The focus will now increasingly be on issues of peace and disarmament, the restructuring of international economic relations, debt relief for developing countries, democratization of multilateral institutions such as the United Nations, and on global environmental protection. To achieve these objectives, we will have to work together to make the movement stronger and more forceful. Our common endeavor to achieve this goal will determine whether international diplomacy is to be conducted on the whims of a powerful few or on the collective will of the majority of the nations. Given the statesmanship of the highest order that you have displayed in bringing about national reconciliation in Zimbabwe, or firmly resisting apartheid practiced by your powerful neighbor, and successfully guiding the non-aligned movement through an era of global change, it is most appropriate that Jawahar Lal Nehru Award for International Understanding has been conferred upon Your Excellency. I congratulate you. I congratulate you most warmly on this occasion and take this opportunity to wish you many more years of service to the people of Zimbabwe and indeed to all the people of the developing nations and for the creation of a new and just world order. Thank you.
Your Excellency, President Venkataraman and Madam Venkataraman, the Honorable Prime Minister Narasimha Rao, Honorable Vice President and Chairman of the Jury for the Nehru Award for International Understanding, Mr. Shankar Dayal Sharma and Madam Sharma, distinguished members of the jury, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I feel greatly honored and privileged to be amongst you on this memorable and historic day, which significantly coincides with the birthday of Pandit Nehru, one of India's greatest and peace-loving sons. Your decision to invite me to join you on this great day for the conferment on me of the Jawahar Lal Nehru Award for International Understanding for the year 1989 demonstrates the desire by the jury of the Nehru Award and the Government of India to persevere in and strengthen the search for global peace, justice, and development. It is therefore with profound admiration for and great inspiration from Nehru's political doctrine and global vision of peace, freedom, equality, and socio-economic justice that we are gathered here. History has judged Nehru not only as a celebrity of Afro-Asian solidarity, but as a principled internationalist and advocate of justice, the elimination of racial discrimination, racial domination, and the exploitation of man by man. His moral philosophy underlying international relations was opposed not only to war and conflict between nations, but also to colonialism and the subordination of weaker nations by mightier ones. Together with other great statesmen like Joseph Broz Tito, Kwame Nkrumah, Gamal Abdel Nasser, and Sukarno, Nehru's perception of the political philosophy of non-alignment helped in the formulation of a firmer stance by developing countries vis-à-vis the decolonization process, integrity of nations, peaceful resolution of disputes, and non-interference in the affairs of other states. It was on the basis of these principles that the non-aligned movement was established and grew into the mammoth and influential organization it has been. Mr. Chairman, I'm very glad to observe that Zimbabwe and India cooperated very closely in the furtherance of these noble ideas. We in Zimbabwe note with great appreciation India's unwavering support and contribution to the fight against apartheid in South Africa. We urge you to continue this fight until the majority of the oppressed masses in that country are free to participate fully in determining their destiny in a free, democratic, and united non-racial society. Our traditional and brotherly relations are manifest in and are amplified through cooperation at the various international fora, such as the United Nations, the Non-Aligned Movement, and the Commonwealth. Bilaterally, the high level of economic, scientific, technical, and cultural cooperation is ample testimony to the understanding and closeness that characterizes our friendship. An assessment of this cooperation clearly shows that a lot has been achieved in eliminating hunger, disease, and ignorance which afflict our people and a greater part of the world's population. Zimbabwe's and India's perception of and cooperation within the South-South context is another demonstrable dimension of our joint socio-economic endeavors to improve the living standards of our people. Our membership of and participation in the Group of 15 deserves special attention. This economic arrangement takes cognizance of the fact that the North-South trickle-down effect remained a fallacy, which for the greater part bred and sustained unequal ties between developed and developing countries. There is a great need for us to continue to encourage and promote the South-South economic, cultural and technical cooperation, whose justification lies in our generally similar historical experiences and common deprivation and restricted economic development. Indeed, all these facets of bilateral and multilateral cooperation are closely underlined in Nehru's foresight and vision of a progressive and pacific world. Zimbabwe therefore regards the Nehru Award as a mighty symbol of peace, wisdom and political maturity. It is against this background that I stand overwhelmed by the jury's decision to confer on me the prestigious Nehru Award for International Understanding for the year 1989. Mr. Chairman, I do accept this great honor with great humility and gratitude, always thankful that whatever virtues you might have discerned in me are in no small measure as attributable to me as to the people of Zimbabwe I have had the privilege and honor to lead over the last 11 years. The honor, therefore, is as much mine as it is theirs. Allow me, Mr. Chairman, to conclude my remarks by expressing my most profound thanks to the jury of the Nehru Award and to the Government of India for this cherishable honor, which I shall always treasure. And may I once again say, whilst expressing that gratitude, that I shall always try to the best of my ability to walk in the footsteps of the great leader, the great hero, and the great guide, Jawahar Lal Nehru. I thank you.